Alright guys, I've got the coolest idea. What if I didn't have an introduction? You're Reggie Rocket with my nonsense and hopeless Poke products. You won't stop till you're about to the top with all the hot tips. Hit with the metagame train, the reigning top kids at the top of his game, and you can't hit on top this. You want the best tricks? I suggest you prof-it. You want a mess split? I suggest you prof-it. Once we started rolling, you know you can't stop it. Let's go and get some lessons from JWittz and prof-it. Yeah! Hello and welcome to the next episode of prof-it. I haven't had so much to talk about in ages, so let's get right to it. Oh, by the way, don't forget to rate 5-star me's and subscribe if you like the show. Subscribers and ratings are what keep the show expanding and popular, so help out if you want to stay updated with the latest prof-it news. Alright, now let's get to it. Released on February 10th, 2010, the Heart Gold Soul Silver set offered a lot of change. Gone are the Level X cards and varying weaknesses, and new are the 2-piece Legend cards, the specially named but not very special Pokemon Prime, double colorless energy, energy with Pokemon in the background, and double weakness for everybody is back. So with the new Heart Gold Soul Silver set released for about a week now, most of the exciting new concepts and decks have been discovered. I've already reviewed all the Prime cards and Legend cards in episodes 8 and 9, so let's get cracking on everything I left in the set. First off, let's talk Pokemon. Aside from all the shiny super rare secret Pokemon, a lot of the regular cards in the Heart Gold Soul Silver set have an important place in our upcoming States metagame. First up is Jumpluff. At 90 HP, Jumpluff is the absolute lowest HP Stage 2 Pokemon in our playable game. With this comes Jumpluff's greatest weakness. However, his first 1 grass energy attack, Mass Attack, is huge. It does 10 damage times the number of Pokemon in play, yours and your opponent's. So if you can get a full field of Pokemon, and your opponent only has 1, you're still doing a minimum 70 damage for 1 energy. Pair that with an extra belt and you've got 90 damage, and that's just the minimum. Chances are your opponent will have around 3 Pokemon out at a time, giving Jumpluff an average damage of 120 with extra belt. So while you'll be getting knocked out quickly, you'll be dishing a knockout every turn in return as well. There are about 100 different speculated partners for Jumpluff, including the new Pichu for loading up the bench, Shaman Land Level X to increase HP, either kind of Cherrim to increase damage done or decrease damage done to Jumpluff, and Crobats to ensure additional damage output. Many of these are great choices, but my personal favorite partner is the new Sunflora card, whose Pokemon power lets you grab 1 grass Pokemon from your deck. This is the same as the infamous Beedrill's Flutter Wings Pokepower, and it will work just as well in this deck too. Fire weakness is fine, fighting resistance is great. Jumpluff's only real weakness is his incredibly low HP, which could be a deciding factor of whether he becomes great or remains mediocre. Either way, Jumpluff will definitely see play. Next up is Ninetales, who I talked about briefly in my Pokemon Prime episode. Ninetales' power lets you discard a fire energy from your hand and draw 3 cards from your deck, making it another draw Pokemon very close to the lines of Claydol. However, because it is fire, it'll naturally pair very well with the Arceus set's Charizard. Charizard's body lets him do 10 extra damage for each fire Pokemon on your bench. With Ninetales released, you can have a full bench of fire and do 80 damage for just 1 energy, or 100 with an extra belt, and you still get the draw power of Ninetales. Unlike Jumpluff, Charizard has a massive 140 HP, so he'll be able to take a hit. The only drawback is dumping the energy out of your hand. Some players might want to tech in Typhlosion Prime or even Energy Pickup to get those energy back in play. Charizard isn't the only partner for Ninetales, but I think he's the best. An interesting tech card is the new Slowking, whose power lets you rearrange the top 3 cards of your deck or your opponent's deck. You'll most likely be using him to rearrange your opponent's deck, ensuring that they draw a card they don't need each turn. This can be paired with all kinds of disruption, and late enough in the game, you can ensure that your opponent draws junk for the rest of the game. He won't be everywhere, but he's definitely an experiment worth testing. The last Pokemon I'm going to talk about is Dunsparce. On my first look, this card is pathetic. However, after reading the second attack, I learned something important. He has Shuppet's Fade Out attack, for 10 less damage, but it's still the same. This means that you can either pair Dunsparce in a Shuppet Donk deck, or play him on his own. Being colorless offers 2 great things. One is that he'll be able to take advantage of this Garchomp and Flygon infested metagame, and easily get knockouts by taking advantage of the colorless weakness. And 2 is that it can use Cyclone Energy. By using Cyclone Energy, you force your opponent to switch out, getting rid of any troublesome Dialga Gs, Mewtwo X's, or Spiritooms, which really cripple the Shuppet deck. After you attack, you return Dunsparce and all cards attached to him to your hand, so you can continually use Cyclone Energy every single turn. Dunsparce is an interesting contender in a Shuppet-style deck, and using Cyclone might prevent some of the auto losses that Shuppet used to have. If you don't know what a Shuppet deck is, check this video out here for some information explaining it. There are a couple of other Pokemon that might see play, but those are the ones that I think will see the most competitive play from this set. Now, a quick overview of the trainers. This set offers several great trainers, so I'm only going to explain them all briefly. Copycat is an interesting tech supporter that will be great versus Shuppet builds and SP decks. It lets you shuffle your hand into your deck and then draw an amount of cards equal to your opponent's hand. Decks like Shuppet and SP fill their hand with 9 or more cards easily, and a single Copycat in the right situation can be enough to tilt the game in your favor. Plenty of decks will begin putting 1 to 2 of these in each deck. Pokemon Collector is a great new search card that's a lot like the old Hall and Mentor card, but better. It lets you search your deck for 3 basic Pokemon and put them in your hand. This card offers a great substitute for Roseanne's research in basic Pokemon heavy decks like Shuppet and Regigigas, or decks that don't use any basic energy cards at all like Gyarados. Pokemon Trader, Pokemon Communication, is an excellent trainer card that will probably see 1 to 2 copies in every deck that isn't an SP. It's better than Baby Search in that it's a trainer, so you can use as many as you want in a turn, but worse in that you need to specifically swap a Pokemon card in your hand out for another Pokemon card. This can be either a minor or major burden depending on how Pokemon heavy your deck is, but for the most part, it's a really solid search card that will find its place in plenty of decks. And the last trainer I'll look at is Pokemon Reversal, which is kind of on the fence right now as to whether it's competitive or not. Its text is flip a coin, if heads, you can choose one of your opponent's benched Pokemon and swap them out. This mirrors the great powers of the Gust of Wind of past and the Luxray X's Bright Look power of now, both of which are game-winning cards and powers. The coin flip is rough, but hitting a single heads at any point in the game could give you the opportunity to knock out your opponent's draw or support Pokemon, giving you a huge advantage. It's not guaranteed to see play, but I definitely suggest that you check it out. And that caps up the rest of my Heart Gold Soul Silver review. And in my opinion, it's one of the best sets that's been released in a long time. So if you're a player and getting ready for states, I recommend that you get a couple of packs or even a box to suit up. And now for some Pokemon news. Just this week, Pokemon finally released the long sought after Pokemon Nationals location. This year it's going to be a 3-day event, June 25th through June 27th at the Indiana Convention Center. What do you guys think about this longer tournament and new location? Post your opinions in the comments section below. And on a final announcement, Internet Persona Bitty Boy is trying to start up a small Pokemon internet thread for article discussion and the like. He had an entire section about my JWittz videos to his site, so I feel like it's fair that I throw a small shout out to his site. It's pokevictor.webs.com, and he's looking for any discussion that he can get. And that's everything I've got to say about the Pokemon world today. Have a nice weekend, everybody, and have fun testing your Heart Gold and Soul Silver cards. I'll be back with another episode next week. Peace.